Welcome to this awesome live stream from Dave. I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly content on the best cameras for creators or people who just want their first camera. If that sounds interesting, you do not go anywhere, because in this live stream, even if you watch it on the replay or live, you're going to get the absolute best value, the best cameras for video or photography if you're just starting out, or if you just want to know what your next camera could be. So without further ado, let's crack on with the first camera today, and it's going to be the Canon R50 from Canon. Absolutely fantastic camera, and I'm going to explain to you why. So the mirrorless camera is a brilliant camera for taking photos or video. It's a 24 megapixel mirrorless camera, and it takes really nice photos. It has a really nice view screen, so you can see exactly what you're doing. I'll explain later, because there's quite a few newer cameras that are starting to get rid of that for creators, and I'll explain what I mean in a moment. But what I like about this, as interchangeable lenses, it comes with an 18-45mm kit lens, which is really nice for photo or video. Let's listen to that satisfying click noise. Hey, absolutely love that noise. I love connecting the lens back on. I used to really like it on the M50. It made a really nice crisp noise. Say that 10 times fast. But I used to really like that. And what I like about the R50 or any camera that you want to check out, make sure it's got a microphone jack. Very important, because half of all video is audio, as I found out today. And I would highly recommend checking out some microphones. So you might want to check out something like the Mic 2 from DJI. You might want a shotgun mic from Rode. There's a nice little Rode. Let's see if we can show this without breaking my camera. So there you go. The camera's getting scared because you can't see me. But I'd always recommend a microphone. It does have an internal microphone with it, and a lot of cameras do. And if you're just recording inside, it'll be perfectly fine. But I highly recommend some sort of external microphone, because half of all video is audio. So, and a little power tip: before you flip out the screen and face at you, do that first and then attach the microphone, because you don't want to damage the cable of the microphone if you're using a wired microphone or a wireless one with the little adapter on the top and all the rest of it. And what's really cool about these cameras is they are very easy to use, intuitive. I love the menus on these because they're very intuitive. There's a touch screen, very easy to use for anybody, and that's what I like about it. I don't like things being too complex, because it always takes longer. You want things that are just quick and simple and crack on type of thing. And I would always recommend a camera that can do that. And some power tools, I'd always recommend a tripod, a spare battery, or make sure your battery's fully charged, because you don't want to do what I've done a few times and gone to a location to film. For example, I've done this before, and the battery was completely dead, and there was going to be no filming that day, and that was very annoying. So I'd highly recommend fully charging your battery before you do whatever you're doing, if it's taking photos or doing some filming, or have a spare battery just in case it hasn't got enough battery for the task that you're doing. And I'd always recommend a nice SD card, which is always something I'd recommend. Hit like if you're getting value. Let's have a swig of tea there. Sorry, director, I need a swig of water, just bear with me. Hit like if you're getting value, and why not subscribe? And if you want to give some value to the channel, you can support what we do here by going to Buy Me a Coffee /TVR Creators, and you can read my blog and read all about what's going on here at TVR Creators, or stuff going on behind the scenes. Or sometimes I'll just talk about cameras I recommend. So if you're interested in that, go and check it out. Buy us a coffee. The money that I collect from that all goes towards the next camera. And links to all the cameras I'm talking about today, all the cameras I'll be talking about, there will be links to that in the description. Similar sort of thing. Click on it, buy it. We get a small commission, and that money again goes towards the next camera and supports the channel. So without further ado, let's crack on with the R50. So I love this for so many reasons. Interchangeable lenses, microphone jack, easy to use. Very intuitive screen, touch screen. It has everything you need. Does the R50. It's a brilliant camera. Let's see if anyone's in the green room, just out of pure interest. Let's have a little look. Let's go to the channel. Let's hope he doesn't do that. Yes, let's see if there's anything going on. There he is. Look, there he is. Where are you? I just thought I'd do that. So if you want something a little bit different, I would highly recommend the DJI Pocket 3, which I'm using today to record this live stream. And I will tell you a little personal thing that happened behind the scenes, as I like to do that on live streams. I recorded a whole 15-minute live just before I did this, and I forgot to do a couple of settings, which basically meant there was no video for 50 minutes. And I saw if any of you saw that, and there was nothing going on. That's why, because I'm an idiot. Anyway, moving on. If you want something that's some awesome action cameras, I would highly recommend the GoPros. I have a 13 and 9. One of these belongs to my friend, but they're both awesome. Obviously, the 13 is slightly better. I did do some testing recently, looking at video from both. And of course, the GoPro 13 is a little bit better, but to be fair, the 9 is just as good. And I would still say now in the time of this video, if you want to save yourself a bit of money, get a 9 or 10 because they are pretty much the muchness. And what I love about the GoPros, I've just grabbed it because in my right hand, I love the fact they have now anyway, they have sort of selfie screens so you can see what you're recording. You have a nice touch screen on the back so you can, again, very intuitive menus, playing around with different settings. I highly recommend a sort of a wide angle shot. But I love that, just like on the DJI Pocket 3, you get some really nice wide angle shots, which is really nice. And I love that about the GoPros. And one of my favorite little things about these, they're waterproof. So if you're going on an adventure, I would definitely say these are action cameras, definitely. So if you're on a holiday or you're going swimming or rock climbing, I'd highly recommend a GoPro. Light and agile, but at the same time, they feel like the high quality. Like if you drop them a few times, they're not going to break straight away. That's what I like about the GoPros. You can actually change the lenses as well. But as I said, my favorite thing about these is if something's about to happen, it doesn't matter if the camera's off because you can just press record and it automatically starts recording, which is my favorite feature about the GoPro. It really is a cool little feature. And the fact it's waterproof, which is really nifty. You get some really cool accessories with this camera. I think I've said that right. You can get something like selfie stick and bigger cases, attach it to helmets if you're rock climbing or going across the world or on a camel across Egypt or wherever it is that you're going. And the GoPro really is the powerhouse. And if you're doing a lot of blogging as well, it's just light and agile. I like to use a little tiny sort of tripod that's no bigger than my DJI, but I just find, they do have nice steady cam, but I just find it just helps me hold it better and makes the video even stiller and just looks more professional. And that's just a little powerhouse I recommend. Again, make sure the battery's charged or have a spare battery. And again, get an extreme card because the DJI Pocket 3 and the GoPro just prefer extreme. It's more faster processing. And I recommend 64 gig or higher. Doesn't have to be a gigabyte. 128, I think it's my most recent one I've got. That's perfectly fine for what I call my working card. So just bear in mind with the action cameras, they tend to be micro SD, which is a little tiny one that then fits in these little adapters, and then you can plug them into your computer or laptop to edit. Or if you're that's if you're old-fashioned like me, but if you're new school, like you probably are, you can wirelessly, on all the cameras I talk about today, get their app, connect to your phone or tablet, and edit that way, if that's how you edit. So put in the comments below, actually, how you edit. Do you edit on your phone or tablet? Or you're a bit like Dave and you like to do on a PC because you were born in the 80s. But yeah, I'll definitely recommend the GoPro. If you have any questions of the cameras I talk about today, please put it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I know the DJI does a great action camera as well, but I haven't got them yet. But I'd highly recommend getting yourself a GoPro. I'm trying to think of anything. Just briefly going back to the R50, I just want to share you guys, which I think I said in my first video. With its younger brother, the reason why the R50 is such a great deal now, you can save yourself up to £200 or dollars, is because they've now got the Canon R50V, which is a great camera. I'm really tempted to get it maybe next year. But it doesn't have a viewfinder, but it does have a wider kit lens, and it is very much designed specifically for content creators or people that want to film. It has lots of different film settings, has a record button on the front, very easy access, microphone jack that we spoke about before. It even has a headphone jack. So it really is a camera that's worth check out, but obviously it's more expensive because it has the extra features, plus it's newer. So the reason I mention that is because it means definitely check it out, because I'm definitely going to probably get it at some point. But the Canon R50 is a great time to buy this camera because, like I said before, it's great for photos and video. And if you're just coming onto it live, or if you fast tracked, or you just came across this by accident or whatever, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly content on the best cameras for content creators or people that are starting out. If that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're getting value, smash the like button because you guys are awesome. Now, I just want to mention the DJI Pocket 3, which I sadly can't show you because I'm using that today, and I think this is the best video quality I've had. I know it's 720, but that's because I'm using the stream. It's not a sponsor, but I'm using StreamYard, hence why there's probably a logo. And that's why it's in 720p, because I haven't bought it. But but I am using the DJI Pocket 3, so hopefully the footage will look much better than a webcam, which is what I used to use for all my live streams. And for those of you that have been watching a while, you may remember that I would sometimes have 2 or 3 webcams at different angles just to make it more interesting, which I might still do if I end up doing these regularly. But anyway, so some things I want to mention about the DJI Pocket 3. It is probably my favorite camera. It's the camera I'm using now. If you want to learn more about it after this video, go and check out my latest videos on the DJI Pocket 3. Great little camera. What I love about it is it does this. It has a little cool gimbal and it follows you around. How cool is that? How cool. I love that. So it has a little head that I just call the alien head. And I love the fact it just follows you like that. It's really cool. And all these cameras have face recognition or face tracking that follows you around. But I just love the fact it's like having your own little cameraman. And I would highly recommend getting the Creators Combo. So you get a little wash bag, as I call it. And it comes with like the wireless microphone, which I think is in here, the Mic 2. Calm down, Dave. I think I've accidentally turned on by accident. Whoops. But there it is in all its glory. And it comes with its little phone thing and windbreak. So if you're outside, highly recommend this, especially if you're recording outside. It has a little back magnet, so you can sort of clip it to your top or whatever. And it does come, and I couldn't do this on the test run, we now call it. It does come with like a mini tripod, which does open up, and you have to use one of your attachments to attach it to this, which is fine. It's one of them, and I use that sometimes if I'm blogging or out and about. Sit it on a bench or a chair or whatever, and then from there you can record. Use it like a tripod, and I will get to some bits of film gear you might think about getting in a moment. So hit like and subscribe if you're getting value. But the DJI Pocket 3 is a really good camera. The only thing I would say is a little bit delicate, especially when you have lots of attachments on it. I'm always a bit worried about breaking it. But I love the fact, again, the touch screen on it is brilliant. You can see what you're doing. You can flip it around. It's really good for doing shorts for YouTube because you just flip the screen around. It's basically like having a phone without getting bombarded by social media. And that's ultimately, you might think, well, Dave, I can do all this on my phone. You can. But what I love about having any camera, being a mirrorless camera or an action camera or whatever camera you want to call it, is I love the fact it just feels professional. It's designed for what you're doing, the tasks that you're doing, being photos or video, and you're not getting bombarded by social or an email or whatever's going on your phone. And I love that. I love having that separation. So please put in the comments below if you agree with that or what camera you're using at the moment. It'd be really interesting to know what cameras you guys are using. I apologize massively if anyone's in the green room messaging. It's all good. But it's so true. I would highly recommend the DJI Pocket 3. It's a great little camera, nice little joystick, as I like to call it, which is really nice, easy to access record button. You just touch your face, it automatically starts tracking my director saying, come on, talk about something else, Daddy. It's just a really good camera. I would show it you, but it's on there. But if you want to see or find out more about it, go and check out my videos on that. I do have a playlist, all that. And some gear then I would highly recommend. Half of all videos is a microphone. So get yourself a decent microphone, a wireless microphone, be a Rode or from DJI, or get yourself a nice shotgun microphone. I like to have the shotgun microphones with the mirrorless cameras, and they go up to about a meter away before they start losing sound. And they're brilliant. And I recommend if you're sort of recording yourself voice-wise behind the camera, just turn it around. And I think, as I said earlier, make sure you put the flip screen out before you attach the microphone, be the adapter for the wireless or the cable for the wide mic. Otherwise, you might damage the cable, little power tip. But I recommend them for mirrorless cameras. And if you're using an action camera, especially like a DJI, it does have 3 internal little microphones, but I would massively recommend just using the Mic 2. And you'd actually get a set of 2 if you're using it with a different camera. Highly recommend that. And that's actually really cool because you might have seen some of my videos. I might walk around a space and you've still got really good audio, even though you're like, 20 feet. So that's really cool to think about. And I would say it just depends on your situation, what you want to think about, how you're filming, what type of videos you're filming. You might be this close to the camera and you might be perfectly fine with a shotgun microphone or using the internal mic of the camera. I highly recommend a tripod. You can get one now for sort of 20 or 30 pounds or dollars. As I said, link to everything I talk about today, I will put in the description. And I always say a tripod is a creator's best friend because it holds the camera. And, even though you can do all this business with some of the newer ones, it's just handy to have, isn't it? So, You like to have the lens eye level or slightly higher, just looks more professional. And I like the fact that you can just connect whatever camera or phone you're using to your tripod, and it just automatically makes everything easier. Otherwise, you'd have to put the camera on the floor all the time, and that would just be really annoying. Lighting, you can get a nice floodlight like I've got here. I'm just going to have a sip of water. Absolute value. And what I'll say about the floodlights, you can get a set of 2 now for £80 to £100 or dollars. You don't have to break the bank. I just use 2, have a nice floodlight facing me. And the reason why I get these floodlights, for those of you that don't know, they give off a nice natural light. You can get much more expensive ones if you want that do all different colors, but it just gives you a nice natural light. You don't get too much shadow behind you, and you can experiment. I have side lights I sometimes put on just to give a bit of side light, so you still got a bit of natural shadow but not completely, so it doesn't look like fake or like AI's done it all. And if you're filming outside, just use the sun. I tend to have the sun either side of you. That gives us sort of the best shot. Just bear in mind, if it's in front of you or blind you, or if it's behind you, you'll just go really dark unless that's the shot that you're going for. So there's all these things to bear in mind. But my biggest recommendation is experiment. Have fun with your video. Enjoy what it is that you're recording. That's my biggest recommendation. A spare battery for whatever camera you've got, and get an SD card. So if you're using an action camera, you'll get a micro SD, which is a little tiny ones for DJI Pocket 3 or cameras like the GoPros. Or if you're using like a mirrorless camera, it tends to just be the normal size SD card, but still getting an extreme with both. And I recommend at least 64 higher, just because 4K especially are quite large files, regardless of where you put them. But put in the comments below what camera you're using, what sort of style video. It'd just be really interesting to know, and we can have a little conversation about it if you wish. Even if it's a year down the road, I don't mind. I'm always occasionally getting comments from videos from 2 or 3 years ago. It's just cool. And if you have any questions at all, I'll do my best to answer them. So if you'd like to support the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. Go and check out my blog at Buy Me a Coffee. Link to all this is in the description. Or if you want to go to buymeacoffee.com/TVR creators, you can read about what's going on, what cameras I recommend, what videos I'm thinking of making. And you can support the channel by buying us a coffee. Again, the money for that goes towards the next camera. And, it's just a bit of fun, really, and I enjoy doing it. I've been doing them every week at the moment, quite enjoying that. And as well as that. And if you want to click on one of the camera links, you can buy the camera, or you can just click on the link, or any of the links, or the Amazon link, and buy anything you want, even if it's a teaspoon, and we get a small commission. So that all supports the channel and everything we do here at TVR Creators. So if you're getting value, hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the earth. I'm hoping this has actually worked this time. Let's see if anyone's in the green room, as we are live at the moment. Do we have anyone? Can't see. I can't see. Anyway, they probably gave up as I knocked up the first round and went straight into a second. Anyway, I just want to say it means a lot, and I'm just going to go now because you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully there'll be 2 end cars that will be buzzing around to give you even more value. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really thirsty and hungry now. And as always, my director just said it's very important to remember. She's even looking at me now, bless her. She's even saying to me, come on, Dave, say it. Come on, let's say it all together now. Come on, let's say it. You guys rock. See you in the next video.